Right, guys, let's have a little talk. I would love to be able to tell you that there is I don't know, some magic trick to getting a good mark in your B1 exam, especially in the speaking part. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. You are, of course, going to have to study. You're going to have to learn the basics to pass this exam. However, there are a few phrases that you can easily learn that will help improve your mark a little bit. So, let me tell you about those. Welcome back. If this is your first time joining us, hello, my name is Fiona and I am an English teacher and also a Cambridge examiner. So today I'm going to be giving you a little bit of the inside scoop about what us examiners are really looking out for and listening for during your exam. Now, mostly I'm going to talk about the speaking part in this video, but of course the language could also apply to the other parts, perhaps to the writing as well. So let's keep that in mind. Now, unfortunately, there just really isn't a magic trick. There's no secret that I can tell you that will ensure that you get a good result in your exam. You are going to have to study and practice. That could be going to classes, studying online, using textbooks, apps, all of that. However, there are a few kind of key phrases, expressions, structures that if you are able to use and incorporate into your speaking exam, then they will help you to improve your mark. Now, these phrases are important, and I've included them in the video because they correspond directly to the examiner's marking criteria. All right, so what the examiners are looking for and the phrases that directly correspond to that. So we're making sure that we are making those examiners happy, getting you the best mark possible. Let's get into it. One important element that examiners are always looking out for is that you attempt to use more complex grammatical structures. And this example it corresponds perfectly to that. Using used to, I used to, for example, I used to play the violin, but now I don't, refers to a past habit or past routine that is now no longer true. And at B1 level, that is considered a fairly complex structure. So if you can incorporate that into your speaking part, maybe when asked about hobbies or interests, you can quite easily pop this phrase in and the examiner is going to think, yay, tick, 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 extra marks. I want you to be careful though, because this phrase used to is quite often confused with I am used to or to be used to. And they have two quite different meanings, so be careful. As I said, used to refers to past habit, past routine. However, I am used to means that I am accustomed to something. For example, I am originally Scottish, but I have lived in Spain for 10 years. Now I am used to the Spanish heat, but when I moved here, I wasn't. Okay, so I am used to, become accustomed to, used to, past routine, past habit. Okay, go on, you can do it. This next phrase kind of follows the same idea. It's an example of a more complex structure that you can quite easily learn and apply to a lot of different situations. Okay, and this is, if I were you, or if I were him, I would This is an example of second conditional, which you probably will have studied at B1 level. However, it is considered a more complex structure. So therefore, it's something that those examiners are listening for. This phrase is really easy to incorporate into the speaking exam, particularly in part 3, maybe part 4, but particularly part 3. In this part, you are looking at a situation and discussing different options or solutions to this situation. Very often we have a person in the center. Let's say a man is thinking about, an activity to do on his holiday. And we have several different options to discuss. You can so easily incorporate this phrase in that kind of situation. Imagine, what do you think about going to the cinema? Well, if I were him, I would prefer to go to the beach because it's more fun or whatever. You see, super easy to incorporate it, and it can apply to pretty much any situation. So this phrase is a really great one for you to learn. Next is a phrase that you can use to connect your ideas to the ideas of the other speaker or something that has been said previously, either by you or by the other person. As I said before, is a great connective device. And more importantly, this ability to connect ideas is something that is included in the higher mark range of the examiner's criteria. It's so simple, and you can easily do this at a lot of points throughout the speaking exam. Imagine during part 3, well, as I said before, I don't think going to the cinema is a very good option. Or, well, as you said before, going to the beach could be fun, but only if the weather is good. Yeah, see? Easy to incorporate. You can do it. This next phrase, as far as I know, is an idiomatic expression, meaning that the information you are talking about or referring to is based on your current knowledge. All right, and this is an example of more advanced vocabulary that those examiners are looking out for. I think this expression in particular lends itself well to part 4 of the speaking exam. In this part, the examiner is often asking you more detailed questions about more general topics. And you could use this very easily to share your opinion about something. For example, what do you think about football players being paid a lot of money? Well, as far as I know, they entertain a lot of people, so maybe the money is justified. Okay, there we go. Good example, and easy to insert, easy to use and apply to different situations. Great one. On one hand, or on the other hand, this is a really useful expression that you can use to compare and contrast ideas. And this is an example of a more complex connective device that the examiners are looking out for. Woo! So whenever you are comparing two things, you can use this expression. It can apply to almost all parts of the speaking exam. Let's think of maybe in part 2, if we are looking at a photo and describing what we see. Perhaps there's something you are not sure about what it is. For example, on the one hand, it looks like they are cooking, but on the other hand, I can't see any pots or pans. So maybe they are just having fun in the kitchen. I'd prefer, or I'd rather, are basically the leveled up version of I prefer and I rather. In this case, we're using would, or the I'd in the shortened version, to indicate that it's not a concrete or certain situation. Okay, it's more hypothetical. This you can bring into any part of the speaking exam, really. If let's say we're talking about part 3, imagining a situation, discussing the options, you can say, instead of I like this option or I prefer this option, you can say, I'd rather go to the cinema, or I'd prefer to spend time outdoors. This just levels up your vocabulary a little bit. The phrase many people think that is a really nice way to introduce a general idea and also to kind of depersonalize your opinion. It's giving a more general view of what people think, and although it's not technically using the passive voice, it is giving distance between your personal opinion and the opinion of other people. You could really easily apply this to some parts of part 3 or part 4. And part 4 in particular, I think if you're answering questions about general situations, you could say, well, many people think that learning to cook is a very important life skill, but I think learning about money and finance is more important. Here we go, good example, and you can apply it to loads of different topics, so it's a good one to try. These two phrases they're examples of the passive voice. Now, this is a more complex form of language that we typically don't see at B1 level, but there's no reason really why you can't use it. You could learn these fixed phrases and think about ways that you could apply them to the speaking exam. I mean, the most obvious example I've put here for you, this photo was taken, indoors, outdoors, at the beach. This is a phrase you can apply to every part 2, every photo description task. You can use passive voice really easily. You can apply it to giving your opinion about things when it's maybe a little less personal, not your personal opinion, but it's an opinion that is common. So it is said that, it is said that Real Madrid are the best football team in Spain, but many people think that it's Barcelona. There we go. And finally, this is a structure that is considered to be more advanced and therefore will get you more points in your exam. Future continuous. Now, of course, at B1 level, you are expected to be able to talk about the future, normally using will or going to. But using the future continuous doesn't have to be that complicated. Simply answering a question like, what are your plans for this summer? You could apply future continuous for any future situation. For example, this summer I will be going to Barcelona to visit my friend. And that brings us to the end of another video. So as always, I hope this has been useful. If there are any questions or anything you'd like me to talk about in future videos, please leave a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys, and it keeps me motivated. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Home Studies channel and check out their website, and the link is down below in the description, where you can find information about any courses or classes that you might be interested in if you're preparing for your exam. And hopefully you're not asleep like Peppy is right now. All right, well, see you next week. Thank you guys. Bye.